I couldn't help. I'm not trying to be funny, but it is funny. I can't help but listening to that presentation and thinking to myself, so I'm learning to think in the language, and so I'm like, man, lateral kindness, iti nach geiti, Donald Trump. Donald Trump needs some lateral kindness, I think, okay? Oh, tough crowd. Oh, wow, didn't know we were full of Trump supporters in the room. Wow. That's too soon. I feel trumped. Oh, all right. Well, with that being said, we are going to go into a shortened break. We're going to do a 10-minute break. But before we go into our break, I'm going to follow Marilyn's lead by getting us out of that, what do you call it? That conference state, you know, it's like a Monday kind of thing. Yeah, the unsure stage, and I know we're going to need to move around, and some of us need to be told to move around because some of us on breaks just chill in our spot. So I'm going to call up my MCs because I'm going to give them a little bit of a bonding experience right now, and I'm going to call up Deputy Chief Michelle Talep to help me and to help all of us. And I'm going to tell you guys something cool the cool thing is learn your languages because jokes are in the languages without you having to try. For instance, the term for chief in Tlingit has several ways of being said, which is Kashadehene, which means the person who stands for their people or in front of their people. Then there's Nashadehene, the person who stands for their moieties. Then, if there's any smart husband out there like Blair and myself, we have Atshadehene, which is our wife, which is the boss. And so, that's the way the matriarchal system works, and I'm going to do a little something here, but Jedrick has a little bit of a segue while me and Michelle get a little ready here. So, he's going to ask me a question.
Well, I'll ask you guys a question first. How are you feeling today? Are we feeling good, energetic at all? Happy? Good? I'm feeling a little tired myself, you know. It's the morning. I'm not really a morning person. I'm actually a pretty late night owl. I stayed up pretty late last night, but I was not filled in on this at all, by the way. Yeah. So I just want to ask Gary, how are you feeling today?
Oh, I'm feeling very sagu, which means happy. And so I'm going to get everybody in here to do if you're happy and you know it, kijak did jin. Oh, okay, Michelle. And if you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. And the Tlingit version, if you're happy and you know it, shout hoo-ha. Hoo-ha! All right, everybody, Gita Han. Your guys are going to do one. All right. Here we go. And remember, this is puppetry for TV. So you keep the arms at the... There we go. Okay. Yep, there we go. All right. This is their first time. They didn't know this was going to happen. So everybody, Gita Han, stand up. We're going to do if you're happy and you know it. Stand up if you're able. Here we go. If you're happy and you know it, Kiji Dog Jin. If you're happy and you know it, Kiji Dog Jin. If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it. If you're happy and you know it, Kiji Dog Jin. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, shout hoo-ha. If you're happy and you know it, shout hoo-ha. If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it. If you're happy and you know it, shout hoo-ha. Good sheesh, everybody. You have a 10-minute break. Thank you for joining. Okay, I'll just make the lateral violent stink eye, you know, just in case we aren't aware of what has been said and been going on. So I have the luxury of making sure you guys all come together and are ready for the next part, which is the youth panel. But because I sometimes get sick of my own voice, and I also am kind of in like a mentorship, leadership, teaching role, I'm going to get them to discuss
all of the notes that I didn't take out in our meeting. But I'm just going to talk and talk until I hear those people over there at that table, because I'm going to share with you guys a very special gift, but I can only do that if I have your attention. Okay? So we want to be on time because we have a lot of great things to do. We have a lot of stuff, and I just wanted to make some things. But I'm going to gift you guys all with a song. All right? For those of us who know the importance of song is amazing. Like we, as an indigenous people, we know a lot of our histories through stories and songs and legends. And a lot of our gifts back in the day were songs, because songs outlive everything. They outlive totem poles. They outlive us. We have songs that go back to the Ice Age that today we can talk about and we can sing. We can tell you the names of people who composed things. And so that is why it is very special. So we are here talking about health. We are here talking about wellness, the things that make us us. It's like living. Hatuanagu yis itinach iati luhan. All of our spirits need healing. And so I'm going to share with you guys a healing song, and I call it Hatuanagu Yisshi. It's a song for our healing spirits. And for the sake of time, as soon as I'm done, I'm going to have Jedrick and Taylor take off with the announcements, and we're going to also get started with the youth panel. And I'm hoping by the time that I did all this talking and speaking that all the youth panel are ready and slowly making their way up to the stage, so that way we don't have to take too much more time. So if you're the two people on the youth panel, please come on up. And this is a song, a healing song for everybody. You guys have permission to use the song, and you can get my email, and you can email me if you want the actual recording of it, because these days people do it from their phones, and you'll have people talking about soap operas in the background or things like that, or it's just not a really good sounding recording. So this is a healing song. This song has come to me, but I'll tell you the story if you want to email me or ask me more. But I got to stick with the agenda, so without further ado, I'm going to sing you guys this healing song, and I hope you enjoy. Thank you for hearing me, and I'm now going to hand it over to my fellow partners, colleagues, MCs, friends, wonderful people.
Madu, Gary, Madu. Oh, Madu means thank you in Teltan, which is my language, by the way. I wish I was as well versed as Gary in my own language. That would make this a lot easier, I think, actually. But yeah, let's get to what we're, all here for. The youth, right? We're building capacity for the youth. It's about health. It's about, safety, but it's also mainly about how do we build the capacity for the youth. So why don't we ask them ourselves, right? I'd like to call up our youth presenters, Jasmine Estet, Sydney Sinclair, and I believe we have we have one other participant in the Dawson Hub, Taylor Jobin. And I think Jem Titus is also with us today, but that is not confirmed yet. So we will see. Yeah. Oh, big round of applause for our participants, guys. Come on. So you've already heard who I am. I don't want to take any time, but I know that this kind of thing, especially for youth, because I've been here, is pretty nerve-wracking, right? Like, it's nerve-wracking to come up on here and talk about things. Yeah, like it's okay. So really quick, I just want to do a little exercise to kill our nerves really quick. It's going to be really fast. I stole this completely from another MC, Luke Campbell, who is like my, that's who I aspire to be like as an MC. So who here has heard of box breathing? We're in health and wellness. I'm assuming a lot of people have heard of box breathing. So we're just going to do a quick little box breathing exercise together. All that is you hold your breath in for 4 seconds, or inhale 4 seconds, hold 4 seconds, exhale 4 seconds, and then hold for 4 seconds. And we'll do that 2 or 3 times, like a box, right? 4, 4, 4. All right. So. And 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. All right. You feel a little bit better? Feel a little bit better? Sure. We'll say sure. All right. So, do we all have our mics ready? Have we tested our mics? They're right beside you there. Sorry. Good? Okay. I will introduce myself to take the nerves off. My name is Jedrick Dendies. It's nice to meet you both. I went to the University of Victoria. I graduated in political science. My mom is Tahltan First Nations and Norwegian, and my dad is also Tahltan First Nations and Polish. Yeah. Let's have a conversation. Sound good? Okay. All right, so my first question, and we'll just go in order of 1, 2, and then our online participants. And then we'll go in a circle like that. Cool. So we'll start with, please introduce yourself. Oh,
Hi.
and something that's meaningful about you.
Okay.
Or to you.
Okay. So my name's Sydney Sinclair. My pronouns are she, they, and I was born in Edmonton and raised here in Whitehorse. I'm currently a student at FH Collins. I'm in grade 12. That's why I was a little bit late. Just finished up classes. Yeah, and now I'm here. And this is kind of my first time being on a panel, so we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
I'll make it less like I'm interviewing you and more like a conversation. How about that? Sounds good. Awesome. Yes. Okay. Yes.
Hello, I'm Jasmine Eisted. You can call me Jazzy. A lot of people know me from Jazzy, a few people on the floor here, but I am a YNTEP student. I'm in my final year, so I work with grade ones pretty much every day, so I'm not sure how this feels to me. I am very excited. This is also my first time being in a panel. Actually, maybe second. I did do a short one at the research convention one time, but doesn't take the nerves away still. I'm grateful to be here. I am an immigrant from the Philippines. I've been here 10 years. My husband is a Yukon artist, and he's right there at the back promoting him. Just kidding. I'm grateful to be here, and I'm thankful that Yukon University is very supportive of youth researchers because it's an important thing. I am proud of my culture. I am Filipino, and I would just like to say salamat, which is thank you in my language.
Hadi. Do we have our, next would be Taylor or Jem?
My name's Taylor. I am a born experienced Yukoner. I was born in Whitehorse, in downtown Council Traditional Territory. I just moved to Dawson recently and now live on the Kitchen Traditional Territory. I'm currently pursuing my degree in Indigenous governance. Closer. Is that better? Straight
Yes.
to it. There we go. I'm currently pursuing my bachelor degree in Indigenous governance, and before that, I was studying in Kelowna for international relations. So I'm really interested in policy and governance and community engagement. This is my first time being a part of a panel. I'm lucky enough to have a friend like Piper get me involved with something like this, and I'm excited to have a conversation with everyone. It feels weird being here and having my back to the screen of everyone in Whitehorse.
It's okay. Thank you very much, Taylor. Sounds exactly like my career path, so good luck, Taylor. Okay, so, and do we have confirmation that Jem is not joining us today? Can we get confirmation? Yes? Okay, okay. Okay, so we'll move into a little bit like past the personal questions. So what inspired you to get involved in the initiatives that you are a part of? We can just open it up as open.
Sure. I think for me, what inspired me the most is just the people in my life who have really strived to make change and see that the world can have positive change. And so I hope that one day I can inspire others to do that.
That's good.
I guess for me, I've always been curious and I wonder about a lot of things. The ADHD rabbit hole is a real thing. You can really learn a lot of random stuff very quickly. And I'm grateful for, like my family and the people that surrounds me that just encourages that in knowing like that you can find things out. And, I've never really recognized that as being a researcher. I just like to know things, and grateful for the Yukon University as a part of that, and that I don't have to get graded for the things that I'm trying to learn.
Perfect, beautiful. Taylor, I'll open up the same question to you. What inspired you to get involved in the initiatives that you were a part of?
I would say my experiences, my family, and just who I surrounded myself with. Especially when I went to school in Kelowna, I am a Cree Métis on my dad's side, and when I was pursuing my degree in governance there wasn't really any discussions about the North or Indigenous people, and it was kind of just totally brushed over. So I came back to the Yukon and realized that that's something I'm passionate about and I think needs to be discussed a lot more, especially down south.
Definitely. It's like you go outside of your own bubble, right? You go down south and you expect all of these things that you think are common knowledge, but you go down there and you'll lose marks for things that you think are common knowledge. I'll tell you that too. Because of what we learn up here is so different, right? And specific to our context, right? Great. So we want to understand, this is like the main thing, right? We want to understand how organizations can better engage youth in community initiatives. It's really hard, we talk like I'm not a youth myself. I remember it's really hard. You have school, you have organized sports, you have all these things that and all of that, it seems like you're expected to give even more of yourself, right? In order to better yourself and make yourself as desirable as possible for the future. So how can we better engage you as youth? What are some positive experiences that have engaged you in the past in the initiatives that you've undertook? And whoever wants to answer that first can answer that.
Sure.
Totally.
I guess something that I've been thinking about more recently, especially like being in grade 12, like I really resonate with what you said. But like you're trying to make yourself like as desirable as possible to succeed in your future, but it really like is a lot, and you sometimes don't actually get to do the things you want to do and that are important to you. So I think for me, having things more like directly in schools and more accessible that way would really help.
Kind of rather than like taking that really messy choice away almost.
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of it is if you want these experiences, you have to choose to do it, and you have to find the time in your busy schedule to go and do it. And sometimes that means sacrificing grades. And not everyone wants to do that. So if it were right in school, then perhaps that could help.
Right. So barriers of, I guess that loops back to your like the ADHD rabbit hole, right? It's just when there's too many choices, it's too complicated almost. Or if you have to figure that out for yourself, because you're just trying to figure out who you are even, right?
Yeah. I guess I would say for me, I am studying to be a teacher. So one of my roles, right, is to encourage that sense of wonder, is to encourage kids to go down that rabbit hole. And if it is a passion to you, then encourage them and support them and hold their hand and push them to go where they want to go. And like sometimes it takes a person, sometimes it takes a family member, sometimes it takes a friend to just push you towards, I'm here right now because my instructor thought I had a quality that would be great for research, and I'm grateful for that. Andy's right there at the back, by the way. He said not to mention his name, but he's somewhere there. And I'm grateful for that because, like I said earlier, I never thought of myself as a researcher until I started writing papers in university and like, okay, this sounds like I love this. This is great. I can write great papers, and I love that I'm finding out many things. And it is a positive experience to have those people around you to just encourage and give you opportunities. And you can do hard things, and it's okay to make mistakes, and you can learn through the process. And as a teacher of little people, that's what I'm trying to give them, that space that, like Marilyn Jensen was saying today, right? An emotionally safe space that they can try, even if they don't succeed all the time, that they have the safe space to try and learn and seek answers to their questions. So yeah, and I know that each of us here have that capability to encourage people in the littlest way we could even think of. I don't know, a Facebook message, let's make that positive, a Facebook boost, and just encouraging people to try things out. Because otherwise I wouldn't be here, Sydney wouldn't be here if, we didn't try to do something.
Neither would I. Yeah, that's very true. I was gonna loop that back around to the lateral kindness thing. It's very true, because if you're told that you can't do something, then you're probably right. But if you're told you can do something, it's the same thing. That's beautiful. Taylor, same question. We want to understand how organizations can better engage youth in community initiatives. Can you share a positive experience you've had when you've been asked to participate?
Yeah, I've been lucky enough to have a few. I was working with YFNED right in high school in grade 12, and I was part of some of their first youth advocates when they started rolling them out, and that was a really great experience in itself. I was able to engage with the community and find my place within culture and elders, and really also the best part about it is I got to work with a lot of other youth who cared about similar things that I do, and I've made friends that still work for YFNED, and we can talk about our shared interest of community engagement and youth engagement and being on the land, and that was a really great experience. That really was my first step into finding what I was passionate about, and it was also just really, really fun. I got to work out at a culture camp in the sun all summer with friends who have become like lifelong friends, and that was great. And also working with CYFN this summer was also a great experience. I was lucky enough to get an internship with them, and again, just really find what I was passionate about and have leaders around me that could guide me and just kind of push me towards what I think works for me. And I learned a lot in that position too, realizing what I didn't work for me and where I wasn't going to succeed, and then ended up finding something that I am more passionate about and I work better towards. And yeah, and I was able, and it was able to work with cultural events and celebrations and other leaders with SUIFN, and that was really awesome, and I'm glad that I got to have that experience.
Thank you, Taylor. That's actually a perfect segue. You're talking about the things that you, recognizing the things that you didn't like when you were getting involved in youth initiatives or programs. And I'll loop that back around to you. What challenges do you face? What challenges do you think you face when trying to get involved in community initiatives or projects? What do you experience in that regard?
I think some of it is like what I said earlier with being busy with school, but also transportation. I've realized like among many people at my school, they can't get places as easy. So yeah.
Yeah, gotta ask your mom for a ride. It's hard. It's tough.
I'm so glad I don't need to do that anymore. I think just thinking about challenges for sure, like the scheduling, and because it's your passion, you want to try to give your best, but also knowing your mental wellness and your capacity and how much do I put forward for this thing, how much do I save for my personal self. And I think for research specifically, it's the unknown, it's the not knowing, the timing, how long am I going to be in this project? How much work am I going to put in? How much compensation am I going to get? How much rest am I going to get throughout? And it's, for myself, being a planner, wanting to know every single thing that's going to happen within my day, that was hard, like not knowing that, this is late, or we don't have the answers to these things yet, or we don't know what to do with this data, and kind of just knowing where to place yourself in the process of research. And yeah. And it's hard to work with people. It's fun, but sometimes it's easier to work with grade ones than adults, but that's not necessarily true all the time. But it is a lot of fun, right? And when there's passion, it's very personal. It's very close to your heart. So when things don't go right, or when there's challenging stuff, it's difficult personally and emotionally and spiritually and physically, because you're giving so much of yourself to research projects, which are very personal projects.
Finding the boundaries for yourself too, right? And your own self-worth. Like, I am worth this amount of money to do this. That's a hard thing too as a youth. It's really hard. I just want to loop back around to Sydney as a jump-off question. Just what types of supports do you think organizations could provide to help you overcome those challenges that you face as a youth? Just transportation struggles and whatnot, like you were saying.
Well, I know like at my school we have a like bus program where they give out like free bus tickets every month. So that really helps youth. And then some things that I've noticed some like youth organizations have been doing is organizing workshops for youth and sometimes bringing them into the schools. And although some youth still just are like, ugh, why do I have to do this? I don't want to do this. It kind of sparks that idea that there's something more out there, and if you want, you can explore that more. So I really appreciate all organizations that come into the schools, and even if it seems like youth don't care,
they will.
It's
a hindsight thing.
At least one person will, and you're sparking that for them. So thank you.
Awesome. Same question, Jasmine, and then I'll ask Taylor both of those same questions.
I was just thinking about, I've been talking a lot about support and the people that are around you, your instructors, your teachers, your family, and the power of communicating that to other people, because we're all here now and we know research is what we're talking about and we know what it means and we know how important it is, but that doesn't mean that all the people around us understand that. So if I'm in school and I have to miss a part of my day, just like today, and not being with grade ones and be with adults instead, what matters is that my instructors in the YNTEP program, my instructor for the research that I did, the school community that I am in, all agreed that, hey, this is great for you, this is great for us. Let's encourage that and let's make it happen. Because if not, I'm going to try and advocate for myself by myself with no support from any other people. So I think it's important for us to see that what the youth is doing is important, and we should encourage that. And if it all you need to do is to call or to send an email saying, hey, I totally support this. If that's gonna make the world a better place, why not? So just,
Putting support into things like blind support almost, right? Awesome. Okay, Taylor, same question. Questions. What challenges do you face when trying to get involved in community initiatives or projects? And what types of support do you think organizations could provide to help you overcome these challenges?
I think personally the biggest challenge is having the courage to do it, to reach out and put yourself out there and feel like you have the courage to put your ideas and opinions out there. And especially when switching programs, that was a big step. I just spent 3 years doing something and I was like, this isn't right for me, and having the courage and the right people around me to tell me that it was the right choice. And I think you have to surround yourself and have the right people there that are going to tell you that it is the right idea for you and give you that courage and have that support. And then I think also sometimes it's just hard to find things that relate to what you care about. Like sometimes they're not super advertised, I guess you could say. And I think it's important for organizations to really reach out and look for those people, not kind of just wait for someone or a youth to show up and be like, oh, I really, really like this. I kind of want to do this, really going out and searching for them. Because it is kind of hard to find things that really adhere to what you like. Like I struggled to find clubs at school that had anything to do with my interests, but then someone in class, we realized we liked the same things, reached out to me and there's this club about international aid and I think you'd really like it. And that's the only way you can get in. Sometimes that's the easiest way to get involved, is just actually going out and searching for people who have similar interests as you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Especially in smaller communities, right? Like the more it gets, I feel like the further north, the more concentrated our opportunities become. So that's fantastic advice. Thank you, Taylor. Why do we think youth involvement is important in your community? Simple question, but I think we often overlook that.
We're all gonna be gone one day. Somebody's gonna continue this. Somebody's gonna do some research after us. So, if we don't plant the seed, if we don't encourage that there is possibility in research, there is possibility in me trying to say, hey, take your vitamin D pills because you need it. That's my research, by the way, so just a little plug there. You'll hear it later. Yes, Andy's giving me a thumbs up. They have to know and they have to see that there is possibility and that this can be done, and that, hey, I could actually do this and I could make a change in the world and I could look into what I want to do or what I want to share or my passions. And yeah, essentially, they gotta do it when we're gone.
What else are we gonna do, right? And Sydney or Taylor, please feel free to jump in on that.
Yeah. So it kind of makes me think of the election as well, and how our world revolves around this older generation that is going to solve all the problems, when really I think so much more of that attention should be focused on youth instead. Because like Jazz was saying, youth are going to carry us forward. Youth are the future. And I think a lot of people forget that because of everything that's going on in the present moment. But really, what are the people right now going to do about that? Like, we have to keep supporting the people who are going to come. Yeah.
For sure, especially when things seem so dark, right? It's like you have to focus on the one thing that is for sure and that is positive. It's that we have a whole generation of youth to shape and hopefully not make the same mistakes, right? Exactly. Taylor, if you have any points to add on to that.
Yeah, kind of as Sydney said, like youth are the future, and all the decisions that are made, policy-wise, like education, social services, and resources, the people that it affects the most are the youth. They are the ones that are going to take over, and they're children, and the world is left for us and them. And why would a decision or any big decision be made without their involvement? And especially like in small northern communities that are predominantly Indigenous, like Dawson, they're traditionally Indigenous youth were never secluded from big decision making, and there was always a place made for them, even if they weren't participating actively. They were still there to learn. And same like as Sydney said, that you shape the youth, and if you're not actively participating with them, they're kind of left with nothing and nowhere to learn from, and that's not really the way to do it. And again, in northern communities where there's less outlets for youth and mental health rates are lower and substance abuse rates are higher, and they need to have somewhere where they can go and actively find their place in their community and culture and feel like they are a part of that, and so they can foster a sense of community and not feel alone. There's a million reasons why I think it's really important to involve youth there. And especially in Indigenous cultures, learning is very circular. It's not like one group of people know everything. You learn from your youth and you learn from your elders, and it goes back and forth forever. And there's things that you learn in your adolescence that you will use through your entire life. And it's really important that those ideas are shared between people.
Amazing. That really ties into the whole, a lot of our 7 generations teachings too. I really resonate with that, Taylor. So just for the sake of time, I'm going to group 2 questions together and feel free to answer them how you wish. How would you, and this is really important, it's like statement building. We have all kinds of organizations, all kinds of companies and whatnot that want to get youth involved for the next workforce generation. Kidding. But how would you recommend organizations ensure that youth voices are heard? And more importantly, how do youth feel safe when they are involved? How do you ensure that? So, how do we ensure youth voices are heard, and how do we ensure that they feel safe?
I'm just thinking about, I just did this at school. Let the youth see what you're doing. Open your doors to them. Allow them to explore and see and hear about what you're doing. Might go over their heads very quickly, but you're going to get 1 or 2 of those youth, of those visitors to say, hey, this is for me, I like this. Allow them to explore and try many different things. Just, again, I'm going to say it again, just let them get down the rabbit hole. Maybe it's going to come out of something, maybe it's not, but it's never a waste of time to involve them in things. Take them to whatever community events there are, like what Sydney was saying, right? Like bring the workshops to the schools, bring the kids to where you are, bring them to the land, expose them to all different kinds of cultures, involve them in having a conversation. We're in grade 1, but man, we do vote. We vote if we're eating popcorn or marshmallows. Like, it's important. We need to hear their voice, and they need to feel that autonomy that, hey, my words matter and my voice matters, and I should be heard, and I should not be scared to be heard and to kind of share what I know and what I've learned. And yeah, do show and tell. It's great.
Thank you. Thank you, Jasmine.
You're welcome.
Sydney, if you have any final thoughts?
I really liked how you put that. how like encouraging youth to, what was that word again that you used? No, have autonomy. Yeah, have their own autonomy. All good. I think, like in my experience, I've really felt supported and felt like I had a voice in organizations when they have youth boards and youth councils, and they really bring youth in and ask them questions, and really, they don't make it about themselves. They genuinely just want to hear what the youth think, and I think that's really empowering. Yeah.
Giving them the space to talk and actually listening about it.
Yeah.
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 Perfect. Taylor, if you have any final thoughts? Oh, I'll restate the question. How would you recommend organizations ensure that youth voices are heard and valued? And more importantly, how do you make them feel safe?
Yeah, Jasmine and Sydney really, I think, hit the most important main points of that, like making sure people feel heard, and I think, yeah, especially making the youth feel recognized that what they're doing is great and their passions mean something, and being that person that will support them and guide them and in their own way too, and what's important to that specific person, and actually committing to it with them and being there for being a part of their journey of finding what works for them and just supporting. I think that was really important. And yeah, just genuine engagement in actual meaningful ways, not kind of just giving them a task and never checking up on them again, and just being there with them, I think is what's most important.
I think that's a perfect bow to put on the top of this present that you guys created. Thank you so much. Can we get a round of applause for our panelists, guys? Madhu. Very good. The nerves just fly away with you, hey? Awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have a breakout session that is going to be starting very shortly. Unfortunately, oh, sorry. Thank you, Taylor. Thank you very much for your answers. I resonated a lot with them. Madhu, I do have an announcement that is it fly? Say again. T has unfortunately there has been a family emergency and they could not attend today. So one of the breakout groups will not be occurring at 11:20, but the other two will remain. You can find me downstairs at the glass classroom in 5 minutes where the breakout will start, and then we have the other one. But I will pass it along anyways to the great Taylor.
We'll all say sessions.
Yeah.
So my first session was Fly Like an Eagle in classroom 2, and unfortunately, like Jed said, they won't be able to make it, so we'll be jumping into to swim and speak with salmon. You can follow me on my way if you want directions. We can all go together. And then after that, we'll have lunch for me, and then all of the sessions you can find for me in the glass class in your little book. And I'll pass it off to Gary here for his sessions.
And if you like what you see here in the room, you can stay here because there's going to be sessions here too. Just to let you know that one of the rooms is not being live streamed, and that is the glass class, Jedrick's class. Yeah. And so just in case that changes your decisions on where you want to go, where you want to be, and things like that. And Taylor's gets early lunch, just so you guys know. Lucky. And also too, the thing about being adults is you got to be doing adulting. And so one of the things is she was talking about how in kindergarten or grade 1, you got to communicate and do everything. Well, as adults, well, at least we like to call ourselves that. We have a duty, and that duty is to participate, but also to give feedback. These things only get better and better if you actually do the feedback. And we find that people don't like to give feedback, so we're giving incentives. There's prizes, there's things to be won. So please, On page 1 of your program, each of you should have one. There is a survey. And please, like I said, it gets better. Ach, yi dashi, help us. Yi dashi, help you for future. Okay, so please fill out those surveys, and we are going to. We got a question. Oh. Okay, there's microphones because there's people online, right? So we have to make sure everyone is heard. But not only that, but we're telling everybody your voices are important. So speak loud, speak proud.
Hi. So, as a person with a mental disorder and also doing tons of research, and Serena Oswald is my name, and a teacher, I was rather offended, and I know nobody meant to, but they said ADHD rabbit hole. Totally inappropriate, because that rabbit hole means nonsensical, means has no direction, and ADHD is complicated, and so are all mental health disorders. So what I would recommend is just using language that is more respectful, and that's all I wanted to say.
Totally. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I just wanted to let you know, I also have it, and for my own clarity or for the future, what would I say?
So, like with ADHD, for example, like it's because of the complications of it, and it's very layered. That's what it is. It's not like for you to be calling. You're not going down a rabbit hole of not making sense, and that's what rabbit holes mean. It's nonsensical. It has no direction. And we're not saying that. We don't want to stigmatize mental health disorders in any way.
Totally. I agree.
So, a little bit nervous, as you can tell. But
No, it's okay. Thank you.
I just wanted to make people clear about that, just that we just are careful with the language that we use with mental health and all of that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gulchishi Yukatongi, thank you for your words. And as a person who has that, I tend to use that term as a joke. So thank you, that helps me. But also, I have to have a joke there. What do rabbits feel about that? Because rabbit holes to them are not nonsensical. Anyways, there's me. So it's funny. So I asked Taylor sidely, I was like, well, he just told everyone in the room that he has ADHD. I have ADHD. Taylor. So, wow, you hired MCs that could possibly go off schedule, so we apologize. Let's keep the schedule going. We are a couple minutes behind, so please, everybody, pick your breakout session room. Please don't take too long to get there and settled. And we do have a housekeeping note of, please get a little closer when you're in the breakout rooms, because we have a photographer in the room, and she wants us to be able to have good pictures. So please get close-ish. Be ready to be involved and participating and things like that. And Dorothy, we're not going to say what Dorothy says, but we're going to say follow the blue road, okay? Everybody follow that blue tape, follow that blue line, and enjoy your sessions.
And for those of you online, you will have to pick which classroom you'd like to be in using the Zoom links. So if you can just use the Zoom links provided, then click on what you'd like to be in. Awesome. Thanks so much.
The great thing about when you're trained the way I am, you make a good MC because you know that the people love to talk a little bit. And it takes a little while to rope in the herded cats, people always like to say. And so that's why they got the guy who likes to sing and likes to perform. So I'm going to sing you guys a quick song while Medea and other people are getting settled and ready. And no, don't worry, this ain't a ceremonial song. This ain't like, you have to listen. You could still mingle a little bit. But if it catches your ear, that's even better, okay? And I'm just kind of rambling because I can't think of a song to sing. I know several songs. And any requests? Just kidding. Okay, so I'm going to sing you guys a song that is called Suhe Deshu Gachtutan. Ya Yakuske Daketajika Nak Huskaw Dakit. We will once again open that container of wisdom that has been left in our care by the ones who are before us. This is a very well known Tlingit song. It's very common. And it came from a speech by this gentleman by the name of Kichnach. And if anyone out there wants to become a song composer, you know the best thing to do is to listen to other people's words and just spread that message. So he said this speech at a potlatch, and there was a man, Kawaguk, who heard this, and he was like, man, that is a brilliant message, and I'm going to share this song. So he composed that in a song, and he gifted it to the entire Tlingit nation. Then eventually it was gifted to anybody, because what was left in our care was the wisdom of our ancestors. That is what was left in our care. So we're going to open up that container of wisdom with a dear friend and colleague that I'm very happy to introduce, and then I will do the long introduction, because everything that I do is long. So, without further ado, this is Suhe de Shugach Tutan. Suhe de Shugach Tutan. Suhe de Shugach Tutan. Ya ya kuske dake tajikanak haska dakit. Hey hey. Yeah hey ya hey. Hey ya hey. Hey ya hey. Hey hey ya hey. Hey ya hey. Hey ya hey. Hey hey ya hey. Hey ya hey. Hey ya hey. Hey hey ya hey. Hey ya hey. Hey ya hey. Hey hey ya hey. Grilchish.